So, Vanakkam. So, we have been recapped all the lectures what we discussed so far in the last couple of classes. So, that is you to enable to understand that the earthquake importance and also how we measure and what is the parameters we are looking for the design or to prevent earthquake disaster. Okay. So, if you look at overall all the discussion what we made, so the major things we look at as a size of the earthquake, basically a magnitude. Okay. So, the magnitude basically obtained from the acceleration times t of the data. So, the record of the earthquake is very important input for record for engineering analysis. So, this record of earthquake basically we can get a peak ground acceleration, peak ground velocity, peak ground displacement. So, which we have seen that these parameters are can be used as a single parameter to estimate a force expected, okay, due to the earthquake, and then consider that into the design of civil engineering structures or any mechanical engineering structures which rest on the earth, which has to handle a earthquake vibrations. Okay. So, but we have seen that, so these amplitudes not only the important parameters, the duration also important parameters. So, where the amplitude repeats several times. Okay. So, that we have seen a duration also important parameter. So, further the duration and amplitude has been clubbed together to the natural frequency of the structures. Okay. So, that is what we call it as a natural period or natural frequency of the structures, where the response spectrums are very important. So, if you look at all these things, okay, so the acceleration times t, response spectrum, so everything put together actually the important input for record for the design of buildings. Okay. So, then we have seen that from the response spectrum it is a single ground motion response of the single degree freedom structures. So, if you want to have the multiple ground motion into the effect of design, so one can go for the design spectrum in the tripartite plot. So, this also we have discussed in detail. So, if you look at overall all this discussion, so we finally converge that there is a need to assess these parameters or estimate these parameters, so that you can minimize damage. Okay. So, I mean the force experienced by the structure, it may be civil or mechanical or electrical, does not matter. So, it has to be reduced. So, these parameters if you have, you can reduce. So, since many of the earthquakes are happened in the past and the future earthquake, if you have the similar kind of past earthquake you are expecting, then you can design. But some of the location there is no earthquake data at all. Okay. So, there are two ways we can minimize the this kind of hazard. Okay. So, by predicting earthquake, another is predicting earthquake hazard parameters. Okay. So, we are going to talk about all these two aspects in the coming classes. So, up to the end of the class. So, the predicting earthquake actually, so you try to predict any of these values. Okay. So, from the known knowledge or whatever way it is possible, that is the predicting of earthquake. But as on now, the predicting of earthquake is not possible. Okay. So, even though there are about 9 method people are basically discussion and then given the prediction of earthquake, but as on universally it is accepted that earthquake prediction is not possible. Okay. The only way to reduce the earthquake is actually you can predict earthquake hazard values. Okay, or earthquake hazard parameters. So, there is a difference between the earthquake prediction and the earthquake hazard prediction. So, what is the difference actually? So, the earthquake prediction is basically so this location earthquake going to happen. Okay. So, this is the earthquake going to happen. So, as we know that we are in the surface. So, this waves travels and then reaches a place where it is expected to come. So, if you look at the so this waves travels, this wave character only we have seen as a the wave form. Okay. So, now the prediction of earthquake is actually this is the earthquake which origin. So, the magnitude and this is the distance. Okay. So, then it may happen the time. Okay. So, the prediction of earthquake means what magnitude, when it occur and where it occur. So, that means when, where and what magnitude going to occur is a earthquake prediction. Okay. For this prediction, your previous earthquake knowledge may be sufficient or may not be sufficient. Okay. It depends upon the different concept people talking about the prediction of the earthquake. So, that is the prediction of earthquake. Okay. So, by even a predicting earthquake without knowledge what you studied so far, it useless. You cannot define. For example, somebody predict a earthquake magnitude of 6 going to happen close to Bangalore in the next month. So, it's okay, 6 is going to happen, you know that building going to fail and then people going to suffer, all those things. But this 6 magnitude, what type of waveform it can cause. So, that knowledge only you studied. So, how your location, for example, you are located 50 kilometer away from the predicted location, how you are going to expect what magnitude of what amplitude of waveform you are going to expect, when it going to hit. Okay. So, what is the energy it carries, what is the duration it is. Okay. So, that kind of knowledge is only we have been covered. So, the predicting earthquake may not alone solve the problem, only it will solve some extent saying that. So, while predicted if you have predicted earthquake, it is very sure that it going to happen, you can ask people to move from that location. But the issue is that even as I told you that if you I have told that the 50 kilometer, so this is the location. The earthquake can cause damage up to the several kilometers. So far the highest damage reported was around even 750 kilometer and above. So, that means, so predicting this point, okay, so not only the problem at this location, it also problem in and around area, that you should know how much area it going to affect. So, all those things, the knowledge what we gained so far is whatever we reviewed, recapped, all those informations are useful for this kind of aspects. So, that is about the prediction of the earthquake. So, the another this one is actually this is only a prediction. Okay. So, this is right now it is not possible very accurately predict, but we are going to discuss today class what are the different methods are available to predict. So, how the prediction are reliable. Okay. So, how you can say that the prediction are accurate. Okay. So, then followed by you can also see like you can basically look at. So, what are the socio-economical problem for the prediction of the earthquake. So, that is also we can see. So, that is about the prediction of the earthquake. So, the another aspect is prediction of earthquake hazard. So, the earthquake hazard prediction is basically you will be predicting what type of acceleration time velocity you are going to get. Okay. So, what is the response spectrum you are going to get, what is the design spectrum okay, you are going to get. So, these are all the aspects earthquake hazard parameters prediction. So, quite this is now possible, because you are only going to predict that it will be for the next 50 years, 100 years, not the next month, next year kind of thing. So, the overall based on the knowledge what we gained, one can predict a earthquake hazard very accurately. Okay. So, that is what as on now it is possible, but since the prediction also plays a major role in several aspects. Okay. So, it is necessary to understand that the prediction of earthquake part of your study. This also basically help you on several future related. For example, some of you want to work on the earthquake prediction and then break through this one. So, we will discuss the prediction problems and how it is possible, what are the things, why it is fails, everything. So, if you understand overall the earthquake, how it is happening, where it is happening and all. So, if you try to assess those things very precisely, which is practically not possible, then you can some extent predict very accurately the earthquake. Okay. So, that anyway the future research many scientists are working, but as on now the engineers believe that the prediction of the earthquake does not solve the problem. So, even if you predict the earthquake, if your house is not strong, you are anyway going to your house going to collapse. Only you can save the life, but the people may get affected because of the earthquake. Okay. So, what is mean by the earthquake prediction? So, the earthquake prediction is an area of research great scientific and public fascination. So, many people actually say that the earthquake is prediction is very important many general public even curious to work on the earthquake prediction even without having knowledge about the earthquake. Okay, we can see those things. Even there are Google, if you go and Google it, find out what is the earthquake prediction and how it is done and all. You can see that many common man kind of people also give like this astrology based earthquake prediction, planet position based earthquake prediction, like that there are so many. This one, even there are websites people are maintaining to announce that when earthquake is going to occur. Okay, so those are all the way also, but these are all as I told you that, so sometime it happens, sometime it not happen. So but the scientists never worry too much about the earthquake prediction announcement and forecasting released by the different agencies actually. Okay, so most of the time the scientists believe that the earthquakes going to occur, it is better to be prepared and be yourself resilience building and this one. So the reason for this is not only the earthquake can cause extreme damage. Okay, so why it is a public fascination. So this not only causes the fatality in the short time, and also the earthquake can have large social and economical impact of the society. So what is the social and economical impact? So there are many history of the nation has been changed because of the earthquake. Okay, so like some of the areas are completely vanished from the map itself because that area was completely gone. And some of the people use because soon after the earthquake many people give a grant and aid from the other countries to support. So many people use that money to build their nation well and also attack their enemies or terrorists kind of thing. So these are all the things where the history of the nation itself going to change. Okay, that is like a large social and economical impact in the society. That's why the earthquake predictions are so many people interested. So the earthquake prediction is the sense of making deterministic prediction about the place, time and magnitude. So the earthquake prediction basically should tell the place, time and magnitude very accurately, so that using that one can see that how they can reduce a fatality caused because of the earthquakes. We have seen there are several deadly earthquakes in the world, which is so many people have died. Okay, that can be minimized, first priority. Second, the infrastructures can be damage can be also minimized, or people can evacuate with the valuables, so that loss will be reduced, economical loss will be reduced. So these are the but as I keep insisting that as on now it is fundamentally not possible to predict accurately these parameters. So however, based on the variety of data and earth scientific make statement about the probability of the earthquake with a certain size will occur in the certain region over a specified period, which is purely based on the probabilistic model, which can be called as a earthquake forecasting. Okay, the forecasting means like the occurrence of earthquake in the 2% probability in the next year. So what is that you can say that depends upon your data. So if your data is wrong, basically you cannot predict. So I can give you the example. So for example, Peninsular India has a average return period of 300 to 500 years earthquake. Okay, so 6 magnitude, 6.5 magnitude. If we have the complete 500 years earthquake data, okay, then you can predict what is the expected earthquake in the next year. But if you have the only last 100 years data, as we have seen that the India has a poor seismic record of only 1960 onwards they start recording the data. So if using that kind of like 60 years data, whatever you predict may not be more accurate. Okay, so that is the one problem with even a accurate forecasting of the earthquake hazards. Okay, so but still this predictions is the well known subject, many people working on that. Okay, the prediction of the earthquake is well known subject, many scientists working on that. There are places where people formed a big research group, so they work towards all updating this model and theories and understanding of that. So that is how the prediction they work. So earthquake prediction mean that in advance an earthquake correct estimate made in magnitude and location and time. So this is what we keep on telling. To be useful, the earthquake prediction need to be include all the three. So the prediction of earthquake with the magnitude of between 7 to 7.6 might occur particular location between so and so time at a particular day would be probably fine. So this is what you should report as a prediction. So this is the magnitude you should go. You should not say that magnitude 8 will occur, but finally the magnitude 5 occurs. which is not a prediction, because as you know that the magnitude of 8 is 1000 times larger than the magnitude of 5, as it is a log base 10. Okay. Similarly, the time, if you say that it going to occur on a specific period like this, a small variation in the time, not a very big variation. If we say that tomorrow going to occur a earthquake at 10 o'clock, but if it occurs even today 5 o'clock, it create a lot of huge impact, or it occurs after 1 month, that create a lot of huge impact. Similarly, the location. So, you say that the earthquake going to occur on so and so latitude and longitude, but it occurs about 100-200 kilometer out away from that. As you know that each place, a city or urban settlements are very small in diameter. So, such huge variation in the spatial can create lot of impact, that we will be discussing in the earthquake prediction problems, and then what are the socio-economical issues. So, the a prediction, okay, so the prediction of, so the event magnitude 2 to 9 might occur may somewhere in US, and hull helpful were guaranteed to be right. So, this kind of prediction, okay, this range, okay, this broader scale may not be so much useful if you even say that the earthquakes are predicted. The first problem is one of the impact of the prediction itself, especially long range prediction. Okay. So, scientists found that the long range prediction, okay, long range wrong prediction, can cause a socio-economic problem like impact, which is more than the actual earthquake, even if it is not predicted. So, what it means that, so I predict a magnitude of 7 going to happen in the next year at Bangalore. Okay. But so it has been believed, people are believed, and then because of that there will be some socio-economic problem will happen. So, that we will discuss in detail what is the socio-economic problem. So, this will lead to the, okay, the impact, whatever the economic loss and the human loss what we are going to suffer. Okay. So, because of this prediction, okay, so will be larger than the actual earthquake. So, that is what scientists noticed from the several wrong prediction and improper this one. So, they believe that such kind of wrong prediction lead to the more impact than the actual earthquake. So, it better to not venture into that unless otherwise it is very accurate. Okay, that is what the scientists believe. So, they call it this earthquake the prediction as earthquake precursor. Okay, so an earthquake precursor is an anomaly phenomena. Okay, so that might give the effective warning of the expected earthquake. So, there is some kind of precursors which is going to say this kind of earthquake going to occur. So, report of this though generally recognized as only after event of number of thousands or some dating back antiquity, there was been about 400 reports of possible precursors in the seismic literature. So, roughly scientific literature, roughly 20 different types running a gamut from the aeronomy to the geology. So, this is precursor, like they say that so there was this kind of anomaly has been observed before that earthquake. Generally they report after the earthquake. So, there are several cases those kind of report, but not before the earthquake. So, this kind of reports basically starts mostly on astronomy with the geology. Somebody say that the moon, okay, is on this position. Okay, so because during this earthquake, because of that only earthquakes are occurring. They do not tell, because they relate this phenomena after the earthquake and publish as a paper or whatever that, but that is not so much helpful. Similarly, the zoology means the animal behavior, okay, animal pattern moving, all those things also people are report, that we will be discussing in our class. So, none have been found to be reliable for the purpose of earthquake prediction. So, in the early 1990s, so okay, IISPA so solicited so nomination for the preliminary list of significant precursors. So, the 40 nominations were made, of which 5 were selected as a possible significant precursor, and 2 of this based on the signal observation of the earth. Okay. So, the signal observation of the each. So, these are all the things are the some of the committee people made and working on that, but as on I keep telling you that as on that it is not very successful. Okay. So, one of the best or most reliable prediction people have made in the olden days was actually seismoscope. So, maybe when we are discussing about the seismometer, we discussed of the seismoscope. So, if you understand how it works, basically it gives warning about soon after earthquake, it gives a warning that which direction earthquake is occurred. So, even though it is not before earthquake, but it is before the earthquake hazard. Okay, like for example, tsunami, people can escape. So, this is the more advanced, okay, the olden days technology to predict earthquake basically. So, they might have been knowing that 600, 400 miles away the earthquakes are happened. So, which is happened in the sea, they expect a tsunami. If it happens in the land, at least they expect a vibration. So, they get alert, okay, before that comes. But they have very maybe less time, but it's this is maybe the first origin where the scientists started working on earthquake prediction. Okay. So, the prediction of the earthquake, as I told you that, so it consists of the specifying some of the parameters very accurately based on the some kind of pattern in the earthquake location or near the earthquake regions like epicenter region or something like that. So, what are those basically? The electromagnetic field. Okay. So, the electromagnetic field variation in the earthquake location has been observed as one of the prediction method people have used. The ground movement and weather condition and unusual cloud and radiation or hydrogen gas content, soil or groundwater, water level in the wells, animal behavior and the phase of the moon. So, these are all the some of the way people try to see that earthquake and relate that and say that this is one, but none of this method will give the specific location area, space time and magnitude range, even though they are defined does not happen like that, and then the specific probability of. So, because of that the earthquake prediction is still under developing or a developing area of research. Okay. So, those who are interested to work on earthquake prediction, so if you predict earthquake very accurately, you will end up in getting a Nobel Prize basically. Okay. So, such an interesting topic on this. So, what are the different type of earthquake prediction? So, the prediction concentrate on with forecasting of the occurrence of earthquake of particular intensity over a specific locality with a specific time period. So, normally the prediction of three type we can say long, medium and short range prediction. So, the long range prediction means the forecasting of occurrence of earthquake. Okay. So, earthquake a number of years in advance like 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, something like that is a long range prediction. So, the medium term prediction is actually done few months to a year. Okay. So, within a year somebody predicts, then that is called as a medium range prediction. Short range prediction is forecasting ranging from few hours to the some days. Okay. That is a forecasting of the earthquake. So, month to year. Okay. So, to a year is actually medium, above a year is actually long term. So, within a month is the short term prediction. So, the medium and short range predictions are very useful because they can help to saving the large population from disaster, the term of life and property. So, basically the short and medium range is there, you can save the people death. So, scientists believe that it is possible to predict major earthquake by monitoring the seismicity caused by the natural earthquake and mining blast and nuclear test. Okay, by looking at your data and all, but for that you need to have the proper data. So, we are talking about the earthquake hazard parameter prediction. No? So, like hazard analysis, these are all basically the scientific way of predicting the earthquake. If you have the proper data, you get a proper prediction in probabilistic and also deterministic way, hazard parameters. So, however, no flawless technique has been developed to predict earthquake. So, till date. Okay. So, most of the method and models are beyond scope of the present work, only few simple methods and models will be discussed here. So, there are many models which is very complicated, but that is not required anyway, because as I told you that none of the models are working very well to prediction of the earthquake. So, the earthquake prediction methods. So, 9 methods to predict earthquake. So, unusual animal behavior, hydrochemical pressure, temperature change, water level, okay, so, radon gas and oil wells and theory of seismic gap and pore shock and changes in the seismic wave velocity. So, these are all the well known 9 method people believe that. Okay, so, the earthquakes are able to predict or people claim, but the accuracy of prediction again is a question. So, since we are talking about the earthquake prediction, so we will be discussing all this method one by one in our class. So, the first observation of the animal behavior even started before the ancient seismoscope itself. So, that is what we have seen, that the Japan people are killed the fish, okay, catfish Nemazu, okay, assuming that the excessive movement of the fish causes a earthquake. As I told you that time, that the animals are restless due to the any natural phenomena. So, that observation if somebody makes, they can predict a earthquake well. So, such kind of behavior of animal is unusual animal behavior. So, this is the first way people try to predict earthquake. So, this is actually in China, thousands of frog crossed the road near earthquake area. So, it looks like that from the epicenter location, many frogs are start moving away by sensing that there is going to be a earthquake in that location. Okay. So, that was observed by the scientist, Chinese scientists. So, okay, then they established the fact that animals are endowed with certain sensory perception denied to the human. As you know that animals are some of their capacities are much better than the human. For example, the dog. Okay. So, dog can sniff better than the any other animal. So, eagle can see from very high distance to the any other animal. So, like that some animals has a some quality, okay. So, some talent which is not possessed by the human being, but olden days our ancestors, okay, for example Lord Shiva and Siddhargal, they say, no. So, they are all people will sense everything because they have the more interaction with the nature. So, but now modern generation we lost, okay, we do not even interact with the nearby people, as nowadays you might have seen that. So, people have mobile and they do not even interact with each other by sitting in the same place. Now, anyway, this interaction is becoming a problem because of the corona. So, you cannot even interact with the people freely, you do not know that who has a corona, which created a mental fearness among the people. Okay. So, people always suspicious that he may have corona, if I touch him or speak with him, I may also get a corona. Okay, which is very unfortunate actually, because the world is running because of the love between the each living things. Okay. So, it is maybe the human being to human being, or human being to animal, or animal to vegetation, or human being to the vegetation. All this love and affection only makes the globe survive so far. But that itself now started a human being actually has to be become a more fear to interact with each other. So, with people will hereafter will interact with a very cautioned way. Okay. So, because of this COVID-19. So, hopefully the situation will vanish, we will hope, but we have to see that we are moved away from our natural interaction with the mother earth. So, that may be the one of the reason that we could not be able to sense some of them, where animal could sense very well. So, some animals have a better power of sniffing, hearing, seeing, sensing so than a human being. So, this sensing character help them to identify the earthquake in advance and take a proper shelter or save themselves from this kind of natural hazard. So, the unusual behavior of animal prior to the earthquake received wide publicity after the Haichang earthquake in Liaoning province, China in February 4, 1975. So, the first earthquake was predicted by using animal movement is actually this earthquake. Okay, February 4. So, this was a classical example animal behavior can be used to predict earthquake. Okay. So, this animal behavior, okay, the Haicheng earthquake in 1974, and what happened. So, although the fluctuations of the water level and radon content of the water were given, okay, so due to the consideration, the behavior of animal was not overlooked as a process of the prediction. So, what they did actually, they did observe the animal behavior, and also they observed other predictive methods which is that time at least understood by the several people, like fluctuation in the groundwater table and the release of the radon gases, all those things they related. So, finally, they tried to say that there is even a foreshock has occurred that day. Okay. So, they said that behavior of animal not overlooked the process. So, on the morning February 4, 1975, the moderate foreshock hit a city. Okay. So, then followed by they issued a warning saying that a big earthquake going to occur. So, that is happened basically little later. Okay. So, the alert was issued. So, within 6 hours of the alert, the area was rocked by a devastating earthquake okay, of magnitude 7.3, but almost 1 lakh residents were saved because of this forecast. So the 2 p.m. they basically released the warning. People are evacuated and people are trying to live in the open space. As you know that open space living, nothing will happen because the earthquake never killed the people, only the building collapses killing the people. So all of them are moved, so it was helped to save. You can remember that here actually 3 criteria has been, okay, so satisfied to predict a earthquake. So that may be the one of the reason is very. So the Chinese considered to be pioneer on recognizing the unusual behavior of animal, predict to the earthquake important indicator of the prediction of the impending earthquake, particularly since accurate prediction of this particular earthquake. Okay. So this was the classical earthquake prediction, the first in the world. So people believed that this technology can be adapted to predict a earthquake. Okay. But here we should also remember that they basically not only the animal behavior they observed, so and they also observed like the change in the water level and random gases, which we will be discussing. Now, these are all the different method, and moreover very accurately the foreshocks. Okay, the foreshock. So which was occurred just about maybe 6 hours before the main shock. So this was the one of the indicative, okay, so hint, okay, one can predict a earthquake, this foreshock and aftershock. So this was the classical prediction. Okay, so then people start thinking that why don't we train an animal and try to predict a earthquake, or somebody can watch continuously animal and predict a earthquake. Okay, that is what the thought has been given. People even made favor of this watching this animal behavior forming committee, and research is started in that direction. This we will be discussing in the next class. We will continue in that. So right now we have seen that the earthquake prediction, what is meant by prediction, and then how people started understanding the earthquake prediction. We started also the best prediction by the unusual animal behavior in the China for the 1975 earthquake of magnitude of 7.3. So with this I thank you for watching this video. We will meet in the next class, continue this. Thank you.